If you have not read this book, have it? We've read it for you. Everything you would have got has been summarized. Who should read this book? A college student who's worried because she hasn't figured out life. The 48-year-old parent who's in a crisis because he thinks he's too old for this. And anyone who's feeling lonely and depressed. 12 Rules for Life is a book that uses stories to show young people how to improve their behavior. Be more disciplined, act with integrity, and find a good balance in life while also enjoying it as much as possible. It's all very well to think the meaning of life is happiness. But what happens when you're unhappy? Happiness is a great side effect. When it comes, accept it gratefully. But it's fleeting and unpredictable. Jordan Peterson, every writer dreams of hearing these 4 words. 1 million copies sold. But you would never expect to hear them just 4 months after your second book is published. Additionally, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life is not just a regular book. Regarding his first work, Peterson spent a long time gathering and perfecting ideas that would serve as a guide for how to have a fulfilling life. But this time, the book was successful and sold more than 500 copies. Lesson 1. Before you judge the world, take responsibility for your own life. Life is not fair. We all acquire knowledge in some way or another. Some people experience it sooner and some experience it later. Some experience it in small ways and some experience it from terrifying events. But eventually, we all come to understand it, like the famous Russian writer Leo Tolstoy, who wrote a short philosophical piece called A Confession. He believed that there are only 4 sensible ways to deal with the meaninglessness of life. Number 1. Ignorance, like a child refusing to accept reality. Number 2. Pleasure, like an addict on the hedonic treadmill. Number 3. Suicide. Number 4. Holding on, despite everything. Even though Tolstoy believed that suicide was the most honest choice, he decided to continue living. This shows that Tolstoy and Peterson both believe that no matter how tough life may seem, it's important not to blame the world. There is always someone who has had a rougher time than you. Also, even if things may seem gloomy in the future, if you can concentrate on being responsible and keeping your own life in order, you will see that the difficult times will come to an end. Lesson 2. Care for yourself like you would for a loved one. Have you ever received a prescription from your doctor and thought, no, I don't need that? Well, surprisingly, more than 1/3 of people actually do this regularly. According to Peterson, it is not intelligent or arrogant, it's a sneaky way of punishing oneself. We do it often and therefore usually prioritize the well-being of others over our own. Peterson proposes typically a result of our failure to bargain with the craziness of life portrayed above. Similar to Adam and Eve had to taste the illegal natural product of information, we as well enjoy in our dull sides from time to time and in this way feel we merit discipline. But as with the shamefulness of life, we all got tossed out of the plant of Eden. Like yin and yang, we all carry both light and dim interiors. One can't exist without the other. His second rule is to take care of yourself like you would take care of a loved one. Do what is best for you, even if it does not always make you happy. This means that rather than merely aiming for either one, we should seek balance. Lesson 3. Seek meaning through sacrifice, not happiness through pleasure. There are many different ways to strike a balance between your light and dark sides. Even though you desire to work, there are instances when staying in bed to get well may be necessary. Other times, it can entail working a Friday night shift. Whatever it looks like, it always entails making a sacrifice in order to choose purpose over transient delight over pleasure. According to Peterson, this is a brilliant coping technique because it keeps you from drowning in pleasure or becoming so morally rigid that it drives you insane. Naturally, not all sacrifices are created equal. When you make decisions for the larger good, like volunteering on a Saturday, they have more meaning than when you do them for personal gain. Like working extra hours to pay for a trip. Although it may seem that way at the time, sacrifice is truly about postponing benefits in order to obtain something better, typically a sense of completeness or contentment. As a result, it's a terrific way to develop willpower. I'll leave you with an analogy Peterson makes. The lotus flower starts out at the very bottom of the lake, drenched in darkness. Inch by inch, it grows its way towards the surface until eventually it breaks through and into the sunlight. I could sure think of worse ways to spend a life than to be a lotus flower. My candid review. In order to make his point, Jordan Peterson used a wide range of captivating techniques including storytelling science and myths. Don't allow the fact that it's mostly aimed towards male millennials deter you. 12 Rules for Life has something to offer everyone. Kindly share this video. Indicate in the comments section if you need the full book. Follow Merchant of Knowledge Africa in all social media platforms, and most importantly, make sure you are reading.